Welcome to the InSession Film Podcast for April 6, 2014. This is episode 59, and I'm JD Duran.
And I'm Blake Bertuzzi.
And I'm Fox.
And Jill.
Fox and Jill from the GeekScholars Movie Podcast. Thanks for being here, guys. Jill, this is your first time on the InSession Film Podcast. It's great for you to be here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And Fox, this is your third time on the show, I believe. And
it sounds about right.
We just recently had you on for a little extra film segment discussing South by Southwest, which was just released this last week. So that was a lot of fun. Thanks for being here as well, man.
Hey, always a pleasure, JD.
And before we get into what the show's going to be about, if you guys noticed, Blake Bertuzzi is finally back with us after being out for such a long time. Blake, I'm glad.
After so long.
Yeah. Blake, so glad that you're feeling better, man. And it's really, really great to have you back on the show again.
Well, I'm thrilled to be back here. Yeah, it's been a long, at least 6, almost 7 weeks probably now.
It's been a little while.
I had some medical issues there. Spent some time actually in the hospital. But all that's passed for the most part here. Feeling much better. Not quite ready to go back to work just yet here, but definitely out and about in public. We actually got to go out, and see the movie we're discussing this week, and it's nice to be able to, join the real world again here. So I kind of put this as part of my rehabilitation process here anyway. So
Absolutely.
We'll call it this social interaction and call it like I feel like I'm not a hermit anymore at least. So
there you go.
Well, congratulations.
Definitely a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
it's great to be back.
Yeah, definitely glad to have you back here. And like you mentioned, this week on the show, we're going to be discussing Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And going off of that, we're going to be doing our top 3 Marvel movie moments. And we are going to be finishing our Wes Anderson Movie Series with our review of Moonrise Kingdom, which I'm really looking forward to. And as usual, we'll finish off the show discussing films we've seen over the last week. But before we get into it, Fox, Jill, how was your guys' week?
It was great. It was a kind of a busy week at work until Friday, and I took the day off to see Captain America, so it was kind of a special treat.
There you go. Very fun.
Yeah, I think, JD, you'll appreciate this. We started off the day by watching The Avengers, and then watching Captain America, the first Avenger, while playing the legendary Marvel tabletop game, just to get ourselves in the mood. We had our Cap and Thor shirts on, respectively, going to the matinee. We made a whole day out of an Avengerific sort of day. It was fantastic.
How fun. Wow, that sounds like a really good time.
I'm jealous of that. I would love to have been there. I've just bought one of those Tony Stark T-shirts with a light-up arc reactor.
Oh, nice.
I will tell you that while we played Legendary, we had our drinks on light-up arc reactor coasters. Best thing ever.
Oh, wow. How fun.
Very awesome.
You guys already.
Yes.
We should totally move in together.
That's right. That's how we do it.
Nice. Blake, how was your week, man?
God. Well, I'm still kind of reveling over that there. I thought I was a fanboy. I love it. Now, you said the best term possible. Don't take that as an insult at all. That's awesome.
No.
Again, just kind of getting back into regular life again here. I'll say it's good because I'm not cooped up looking at 4 white walls.
Sure.
That being said, it was good. Kind of just getting back into the swing of everyday life. For a change. It's funny. You don't think about that. If you I literally spent a solid month in the hospital. And you don't think about how much you miss just little things like your own independence and little things like that. You get so used to it for a while, and then I come home and I'm like, wow, I forgot so many little things anyway.
Yeah,
just little stuff anyway. It's kind of nice, in that vein there. But overall, definitely a good week here. We JD and I, we do record here in Lexington, Kentucky. So anybody out there that's a sports fan too, it's been crazy. No couches left alive here. They're going to have. Well, there's going to have a surplus of couches brought in, for tomorrow night for the championship game in case we win. I read the report this morning here. There were 21 arrests and 14 fires that they had. Just last night. So, and that's not even, that's just, the Final Four.
I know it's not even the championship.
It's crazy.
Game.
I'm staying away from downtown, but
I know the last time they won it a few years ago, it was the reports that came out were just nuts. And even last night, I had friends that were downtown near State Street here in Lexington that said that as soon as it happened, gunshots were going off and firefighters.
That's the first thing somebody said.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe
fireworks.
it.
There were people hanging out of trees.
Yeah. It's just nuts. It's chaos.
Well, I hate to say this, but I am going to be rooting for the dire wolves. I can't, just because. That's the close.
That's why you can only be here for so long. Okay?
Right, exactly.
I get it.
Nice. Well, I still hate Kentucky because my Wolverines lost last week. So.
There it is.
Oh, See?
Oh, that's a whole nother debate for another time, though.
This man. Anyway, we're back on the movies. Anyway. My week was good. How about you, JD? What's up with you?
Yeah.
When are you getting married?
Getting married later in May. Things are really... I'm just starting to get a little nervous. It's really starting to hit me pretty hard that it's actually happening kind of soon. So, but I'm excited for it. Can't wait for it to get here. Just tons and tons of planning. But I'm ready for it to be done and over with, though.
All right.
But
sign of a truly about to be married man. I just want to get it over with.
I just want the day to be here. Like, all the planning is just not my forte. And Brandy loves it, and bless her heart. I mean, she's just put a lot of work into it, which has been great. But I just want to do the day. But the food will be awesome. I had my hand in that one. So there you go.
And the music. The music.
Planning can be really rough. We had one rule when we were planning our wedding: no arts and crafts. I think that's what saved us.
There you go. Yeah, and like Fox mentioned, I did do the music, so Steve Jablonski and Hans Zimmer will be playing during dinner, so that'll be fun. Other than that, week was pretty good, and ready for the show. So we got a good one. Let's get into it. All right, Captain America: The Winter Soldier is directed by Anthony and Joe Russo and stars Chris Evans, Samuel L. Jackson, Scarlett Johansson, Robert Redford, and many, many other people as well. All right, we'll kick it off to Fox and Jill first. What did you guys think about Captain America: The Winter Soldier?
I was a big fan, JD. I think what I really appreciate about this film is that it is unlike any other previous Marvel film. It's more of a spy mystery kind of film. And what I find particularly interesting is that a lot of people seem surprised by this aspect. They say, wow, for a comic book movie to have such intrigue and character development and plot development, it's really unusual. Yet all that says to me is that people have not read comic books for a really long time. I actually thought this was one of the better adaptations of an overall story arc to come to the big screen that had twists and turns and questions. Continually coming up about which person was on which side of which battle. Overall, the action is fantastic. The characters are absolutely at their best, especially people like Scarlett Johansson as Scarlet Widow. That would be interesting. Scarlett Johansson as the Black Widow. Chris Evans, as you mentioned, as Captain America. But a special shout out to Anthony Mackie as the Falcon.
Yes.
Absolutely phenomenal addition to this superhero pantheon. What do you think, Joe?
I loved it as well. It was just such a good story.
Mm-hmm.
And they did, you knew enough about the characters who had been in the older movies that they could develop some new characters. So you really got to know the Falcon. You really got to know the Winter Soldier.
That's true.
And they spent the whole movie bringing them to life, which was really fun. And even some people who we had seen before, Colby Smulders as Maria Hill, I thought she did such an exceptional job. And that was really fun.
What'd you think, Blake?
Well, and I'll agree about that, going right off of what Jill said there about Kobe Smulders, especially in such limited screen time. I mean, she literally had like 3 or 4 little quick scenes, but they were perfect, for her, and she acted them perfectly. I keep using that word over and over. But also, I mean, off of everybody else that you've mentioned so far, Sebastian Stan, I thought, was amazing. Even though with limited vocal lines, his facial expressions you saw in the scenes there.
Really was
his eyes. Yeah. Especially towards the end when he's questioning things as well. When he was in that one scene and I guess when they were, wiping him or whatever you want to call it, and he was questioning things at that point there. I think was just incredibly well done. And I think that, of course, people who know the comic storyline here, that, we're going to see a lot more of him in the future. At least I really, really hope so. I hope they go with that route there, which I think with some of the Easter eggs they threw in there, especially at the end, kind of allude towards that as well. But like you said, I think that not only did they allow you to develop, some more characters, like you mentioned with Anthony Mackie, for example, enough development with Pierce, the character that Robert Redford played, and some other ones there. But I thought that they really delved more into the main characters there. Like we've seen Chris Evans as Captain America. We've seen Nick Fury, but it was so much more personal with him this time around. Like, sure, we've seen Captain America, lead the Avengers already, but you never really saw him take that really overarching, commanding control that he did in this film. I feel Steve Rogers was fully realized to me on screen. So I think that it was amazing. It felt like, I was watching a Jason Bourne movie at parts there, and the way the action was choreographed.
For the entire version of our podcast, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher, or check us out online at InSessionFilm.com.